The Street Level Avengers are coming to the MCU, and guys, this is something that I think is desperately needed right now. The post-credit scene in Echo sets up way more than a lot of people are talking about, and after a few years of what has felt like multiversal story after multiversal story, it's time to bring things down to the ground level again. Stay with me on this. What is up, my friends, and welcome back to Jones Vibes. Hit the like button if you're an MCU fan, or if you're just new around here. I always appreciate that support, but today, we're talking about the Street Level Avengers and everything that I've heard about it so far. Now, there hasn't been any sort of an announcement regarding like a movie like the Street Level Avengers movie, and it could end up just being Spider-Man 4. But there are a lot of rumors circulating right now regarding a team-up film, and the post-credit scene of Echo was huge. It sets up Kingpin to be the Thanos of the street level for the MCU. We see him sitting on this jet and kind of leaning towards the TV as he's hearing the media say this mayoral race is wide open and the city needs a scrappy guy. And so I think everybody can kind of read between the lines here. He's obviously going to be rising to power. And with everything that we've seen already in Daredevil, and then Hawkeye, and now Echo, it's almost as if we've had one big origin story already for this character. We've seen him rise and fall and go through so much, but all of that just adds to like the central focus of his character development and making him into this amazing villain. Thanos didn't even get this amount of screen time before Infinity War, and so I think this is pretty key to what's coming in the future. And something that I haven't heard too many people talking about is the fact that he says, I don't want to let things spiral out of control, and so he wants to call together all of the heads. And if you just take that right there and break it down, there's a lot of moving parts. Could one of these heads be Norman Osborn? Is the Scorpion one of these heads? Is Otto Octavius? You know, like, obviously with No Way Home, we got a lot of these villains, so I'm not sure how they're going to kind of navigate through those waters to bring back some of these iconic characters, but you get the feeling that at least somebody is going to come into play here. There's a lot of possibilities, and it's going to take a group of heroes to take it down, specifically to take down Kingpin. And to pause really quickly, I just want to say that I'm really looking forward to this. Like I mentioned in the beginning, we've had a lot of multiversal stories now, and obviously we're within the multiversal saga here, so that only makes sense. But if you've seen my ranking of the MCU video, you'll know that my number one is an MCU film with an action thriller vibe. And so after seeing Echo, and think what you want about that series, we all have our own opinions, but the thing to take away is the tone and the darkness and the grit. It's mature. It's the MCU growing with their audience. And so the one thing that I want to highlight here is I don't want us to confuse these rumors about a Street Level Avengers movie or a team-up type thing with the Young Avengers movie, because there's a clear difference in tone. Really, all that I've heard personally is that there are some projects in the works in the very early stages, so it might just be conversations that are being had about bringing all of these New York stories together in some form of culmination event. But the implications of that, that now means, now that the Netflix shows are canon, that the Punisher could be brought into the fold, Daredevil could be brought into the fold, Jessica Jones, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and Kate Bishop's Hawkeye. And then with the relationship between Wilson and Maya, you could bring in Echo as well. Honestly, just that team right there is absolute money. For this type of movie, I don't need the Hulk or Thor, because I'd be looking for more hand-to-hand combat type stuff. And with Kingpin being the big bad, you know, maybe they bring back the Hand from the Defenders as sort of his goons. Also, this is just a theory, but what if the 10 Rings were involved? And Shang-Chi ended up getting brought into the fold somehow, please. Something that I think a lot of us are craving right now is a good old-fashioned team-up movie in the MCU. And whether it's called the Street Level Avengers, or maybe they just use Daredevil Born Again and they really flesh out all of this drama and they kind of build up this narrative, they could connect the dots and lead us into a big Spider-Man 4 event film. There's just a lot that's possible. With that being said, I know that there's a lot of us, honestly, like myself included, that would prefer that Spider-Man 4 is more of an intimate journey with Peter Parker, him kind of taking on that mantle, taking on the city by himself, but I really don't think that they're going to go in that direction. Now, that's not to say that it's not going to be a personal film for Peter Parker, but I do think that there's going to be a number of other characters in that movie. Whether it's Venom and some of those Sony rumors are true, or it's Daredevil and the Punisher, regardless, I think that if all of these characters do come together in something, Spider-Man should be the leader. Peter's at a point where he's already been through so much. He's been mentored by Tony. It's time for him to take those steps into becoming a real leader. And when you're dealing with older personalities like Matt Murdock, or hell, even Frank Castle, that dynamic is something that could work. Tom Holland would also add that humor and tense moments that the MCU is so famous for. But one other thing that I was thinking about, and I haven't heard anything about this, but when do you guys think that we're actually going to see Miles Morales Spider-Man in live action? Do they wait until after Beyond the Spider-Verse? Do they wait until sort of the MCU reset after Secret Wars? Or do you think that they're going to introduce him before Secret Wars? Because in Jonathan Hickman's run, him and Peter worked together quite a bit. And when thinking about this team of like ground level superheroes coming together, having Miles Morales Spider-Man in there, it would just be so dope to see. But there's a lot to think about, and there's a lot to talk about. I hope that you leave me a comment down below with your thoughts, because I'd love to hear from you and hear kind of what you guys think about all this. Please subscribe if you're new to the channel too, guys, because there's a lot more MCU content on the way. I got a lot of stuff coming up, but smash like, hit me up on X, and keep up the good vibes, guys. But who else do you think could be a street level Avenger? Let me know, and take care, y'all.